Welcome, Solarah here. I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I wanted to get some, I guess, housekeeping out of the way. I first wanted to thank you guys again for helping my channel to grow. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all your comments. I have read them all. I have not responded to the ones from the most recent videos, but I will be responding to you soon. The other thing is that I have responded to all emails that were sent to me before yesterday evening. So if you've sent me something in the past 24 hours, I have not gotten back to it. I want to say that because if you've written to me and you haven't gotten a response, as far as I know, I've responded to all emails and messages. So if I haven't gotten back to you, please do email me again, because it means that either it's been, you sent a message through my website and it didn't reach me, or I didn't see your email. Or for one person who emailed me through my website, I emailed you back, it bounced back. I emailed you back on the address provided, it bounced back to me again. So if you were waiting for a response from me and you haven't received one and you sent me an email before yesterday, then please do me a favor and either forward that same email back to me or drop me another email, okay? So I know I have other emails to get back to since yesterday, and I will be getting back to them again later on, probably tomorrow at this rate. So I hope you guys are doing well. Oh, and one last thing. I wanted to thank Marie so much for your donation. I received it and I tried to write you back, and I accidentally just sent you a heart, and then the app wouldn't let me send you a message. I'm not the most technologically savvy with these things, and I did want to say thank you, not just send you a heart. So Marie, if you're watching, thank you so much for your generous donation. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Okay, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you if you're returning. Thank you for being here if it's your first time. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your encouragement, your kind words, your donations, however you're contributing to my journey. I appreciate you. Yes, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to know when I am posting and all of that lovely stuff. So, my guides, I've had a lot of stuff coming through, different messages as always, but nothing that's coming together with a kind of concrete picture. I just know that I'm being led to deal with some fuckery that's happening, and the only thing I've been shown so far is that it has to do with this new moon in Aquarius. And I know that it's quite obvious, like during moon cycles, that you know the fuckery increases. But my guides told me to come on here and talk about it today because a lot of the time we tend to think that there's a lot of this stuff going on in the full moon, right? So I know for me, for the longest time, I really just thought that a lot of this stuff went on around the full moon until I started to delve in and understand and overstand energetic attacks, the anatomy of energy attacks and all of that stuff. I didn't realize how potent the new moon is for certain attacks. And it would make sense because it is the dark moon. It is especially... this just coming in. It is especially where people might try to cloak themselves, because think about it, magic, quote unquote, and energy work is simply operating with characteristics and how they are manifested in nature and in reality. So when the moon is in its dark phase, it's there, but you can't see it. So for that reason, I do feel like a lot of cloaking energy is happening right now. And when I say cloaking, I mean people who are purposely trying to fuck with other people's realities, trying to still cloak themselves. It's not really possible at this point, or it's not as effective, I should say, especially if you're tuned in, but it doesn't stop people from trying. But the other cloaking energy I'm getting is just this energy of deception and manipulation by not being honest, which is another form of cloaking. So what my guides told me, they said to take it back to the beginning of this channel, and that began with the cards that they had me channel. So let's see. We have coming out They've told so many lies that they're terrified to stop and come clean. Guilt is their bedfellow. And they told me focus on that word stop. In other words, something is still going on here. Okay? It's time for you to retreat into hermit mode. There are special and specific messages that require solitude and silence. So this is telling me that there's some kind of impending energy that might be being headed towards you. They also just pointed out to me bedfellow energy. So with that, if you're feeling overly like lethargic when you wake up in the morning, or you're having issues with sleep, or if you normally remember your dreams and you don't, or you're having nightmares, or like attacks at night that you actually are remembering, it could be this. But it's also showing me that that there's something here that your guides are wanting to tell you in this time, so pay attention. And for some of you, it is going to come through the dream state, okay? They're mad you ain't their mama or their daddy. So this is somebody projecting their inner child wounds. Somebody projecting their inner child wounds on you. We're going to get more info on this. Now this this inner child wound projection, okay, so coven or secret society. Coven or secret society activity. We're going to get into that more. At the bottom of this deck, we do have family abuse. So this projecting of the inner child wounds is very specific here, because this is when somebody, a lot of the time, how this shows up for me is that like somebody has like put you on a pedestal, for example, and maybe you've helped them in some way. Whether presently or in the past, and now they've reached a certain level of exposure within themselves of their own wounding coming up for them to see, for themselves to graduate, and instead of dealing with it, they begin to project that energy. We all do that. We're all guilty of it, and it's part of learning ourselves and learning our own shadows so we can rise. So a lot of the time, especially if you're a healer, you know, you carry that energy. And I'll speak for myself. A lot of people love to come to me, and they love how my light helps them to feel good, and my words and my energy, right? But the thing about when you hold a lot of light, as I'm sure many of you are aware, it also shines a light on the things that people don't want to see about themselves. And when when people see things about themselves that they don't want to admit to, they're in denial about, or they don't want to own, what they do instead of doing that is then make you the issue. Okay, so now, and what they don't realize they're doing is a lot of the time they have issues with this card specifically. They have issues with their mother. They have issues with their father. The root of the energy is that issue they have with their mother and their father, but because they're not able to work that out with them, because either they're not approachable, or you know, they're no contact, they're no longer alive. For whatever reason, they can't really work it out with their own parent, or even if they're not aware that the issue, the root, is to do with, you know, mother or father wounds, they kind of put you in that position instead. I think I've spoken about it in another video. Like I've had this come up for me a lot, and I never really understood why. Until my guides started to show me. It's because sometimes when people get to a certain level on their journey, and they're being taken higher, there's darkness that has to be released, but they're not aware of that. And this is where, again, self-awareness is always key. We have the family abuse card coming up and coven or secret society activity. I don't know who this could be in terms of having inner child wounds. It really could be anyone. It could be a parent. It could be a sibling. It could be... Ooh. Look who we have coming out here. Take that too? Okay. Alrighty. We have... I said we don't know who it is. And then all of a sudden I do get karmic mother. Karmic mother. So this could be you or someone else. And then my card just fell. The family abuse card just fell off the bottom of the deck, and it says they like their darkness and woundedness. Leave them alone. All that they tried to do to you is being reversed. Okay, what actually came up is, don't eat up their crumbs or compliments. They do this to reel you in for the purpose of diminishing you. So like I said, there's something here about an energy that's still going on right now. And when I say 22:33 on my clock, when I say it's still going on, it doesn't mean it's still having an effect on you, but it doesn't mean it's still having an effect on you in the sense that it is causing like necessary destruction still. I mean, for some of you it could be, but I feel like more than anything, like this person has found themselves in a hole with this. Right? They've done so many things, told so many lies. They don't know how to come clean. They're ridden with guilt. They don't know how to heal. They don't know how to look at themselves. They don't know, this person doesn't know how to heal. This is probably why, especially if this is your mother, you know, or if this is a reading for, you know, you're checking in on someone else, like maybe, you know, a divine partner or co-creator. This person, even as a mother, was projecting their own issues with their mother or their father onto you or the person you're thinking about as a child. We do have subliminal programming here. MK, this is all about mind control. So this is not innocent, obviously, here. And they just showed me, nope, it's not, because look, we also had the coven or the secret society activity. And so it would seem that that is how this mother probably learned to do what it was that she did to you. Okay, it's you're being kind of warned, I guess, that this energy is still very active. It's still very active, and that this karmic mother might even be wanting to kind of fatten you up for slaughter kind of energy, like be really nice to you. It's like this breadcrumbing energy, and it's designed to create a heart link again. It's designed to create an emotional link whereby you begin to open your heart, you begin to maybe emotionally connect with the energy that this person is, remember I said at the beginning, cloaking themselves in. So she might be cloaking herself in this energy of being kind or being warm, but it's a cloak. And the point of it is to reel you in order that you do open your heart so that she can gain access to it again. So be aware. And it's coming up again with this new moon in Aquarius energy. And what my guides were telling me also, it's just like this new moon in Aquarius is also, it's when Uranus goes direct, but it's also the start of the lunar year. It's the Chinese New Year also. We're moving into a new lunar year. We're moving from the water tiger, I think it was a water tiger, into... Were we just in the tiger? I forget what we were just in, but we're moving into the water rabbit. That's what I know, water rabbit. I believe we were just in the water tiger, and we're moving into the water rabbit. And so for many of us, it's supposed to be a lighter time, a time of reward, a time of expansion. And there's something here about wanting to block that. Also know that Aquarian energy, it deals with a few things. It deals with group energy. It's the 11th house. So it deals with how you're able to show up in a group. And for some of you, especially if you're tuning in to, you're vibing with my channel, my readings, you are at a level where you are being prepared or positioned to help others ascend too, you know? And so your ability to connect with a group. Connect with the collective is important. And this is what is this karmic mother is wanting to attack. Okay? What was the other thing? And then, of course, we are, we're making that transition. We are in the age of Aquarius. We're phasing out the old energies as we move deeper into this new age. Whoever this reading is for, you have a prominent, important part in the transition period that we are going through right now in terms of how you relate to groups and what it is you're supposed to be doing as we move forward. And this karmic mother is trying to attack that. And whether this is you or a person you're thinking of, this is their strategy. They're trying to keep you out of alignment or out of your position. Or if you're already in a position where you are, ministering to groups of people, and it doesn't have to be huge groups of people, even as a parent, that's still in and of itself a ministry. Probably the most important one, right? So there's something here about like dirtying that, sullying that, soiling that. That's the word they wanted me to use. Soiling this. And this is all to do with something with a coven or a secret society, as always. And with this family abuse card and the subliminal programming, then this is showing me once again that this is something that you've been groomed your whole life for these kinds of ritual sacrifices on behalf of your family in order to feed an entity that is responsible for how and why the secret society exists. Okay, I'm not going to get too deep into the semantics of that today. I am doing some writing around that right now, and when I'm ready to share, I will. But let's just suffice to say that this shit runs really deep, and if this reading is for you, then this is not like a one-off thing. This is like this is the energy of you or the person you're thinking about having woken up and trying to like get away from this. Like there's an energy of you being aware of this. You're cognizant of what's happening, and your cognizance is creating more desperation. We do have time or timeline fuckery, which again is showing me that this is the energy. This is the energy of somebody who deals with Saturnian magic, trying to trap you in endless cycles, lower timelines. And what my guides were even speaking to me about, I think it was today and yesterday, is how they, with that doppelganger energy, right? Especially if you listen to some of my other videos, the one I spoke about with, these families pitting siblings against one another in these like Hunger Game type races. There's doppelganger energy or cloaking energy that can sometimes be involved in this too, especially if you are a high frequency being, a chosen one, however you want to describe who you are. You know who you are, a divine being. Oftentimes they see that light in you before you see it in yourself. And oftentimes, even if these societies don't tell their members directly that they're targeting a divine being in their family line through their membership, that is ultimately the agenda. And for some of these people, they're waking up to that too, and it's causing a lot of hatred and evil eye energy, more hatred and evil eye energy to be projected towards you if you're a divine being, because some of these societies and orders, they're beginning to dismantle. As you stabilize your energy, as you get more balanced and grounded in your light and your truth, it automatically begins to destabilize them because they've been feeding off of your imbalance. They've been feeding off of your instability, right? And I say all of that because that cloaking energy, a lot of the time why they want you unstable is because they want to take your energy to feed something else. And oftentimes, and beyond just feeding, and I hope you're keeping up with me here, oftentimes it's beyond just feeding the entity that helps to keep the vibrations of the earth low enough for them to control. It's deeper than that. So that doppelganger energy, that person that cloaks, is often the one they pit against you in these family games. I hope I'm making sense. So you might be the one who has all of the access, cosmologically, astrally, cosmically. You have the access, but until you know that, you can't walk in it. And so their main objective is to keep you asleep and keep you in balance, so you're constantly, completely unaware and constantly fighting. And what they're doing then with your energy is they're taking their fake chosen one and they are putting a false anointing on them, and they're utilizing your energy in order to create this illusion of success surrounding this other person. Now, what's been happening, or what I've been being shown, is that a lot of these, as you call back your own light, they are losing their false light and whatever it was that propped them up in the old world. And that is, because it feels like there's a lot of players going on here, because this karmic mother is supporting someone else, and it could be another sibling, it could be another family member. But I don't feel like it, and here we have glamour magic, right? This is the cloaking that I'm talking about. This is the glamour magic. The taking someone else's energy in order to create an illusion. And the best way I can describe it again is like in The Little Mermaid, because somebody asked me again in the comments, what is this cloaking energy? The best way I can describe it is like in The Little Mermaid, when Ursula started to get really, like, she could see that Ariel was getting really close to being able to kiss Eric, right? Even though she lacked her voice, and the voice was what had linked her to Eric to begin with. That's the woman he was looking for, right? Even though she lacked a voice, her own energy, even though she was missing a big part of it, she was missing her ability to speak, her ability to sing, her ability to communicate. Even though she was missing it, even in her own depleted state, she was still getting through to him, right? And so last minute, because she got desperate, that's when Ursula cloaked herself as another person, but utilized Ariel's voice to connect with her in that way in order to fool Eric. But in The Little Mermaid, I just watched it again this weekend because I was getting downloads about it. But in The Little Mermaid, what I never noticed before was that the minute that Ursula came in contact with Eric, he fell under a trance. Because of whatever hold that glamour magic had, and the link that he already had emotionally to Ariel's voice. I hope I'm making sense, okay? Because this thing can get so convoluted and complex. But it's like, okay, so when I was a Christian, I don't know if I shared with you guys this, I was a born-again Christian. If you've read my my site, then you might know this. When I first began to wake up, I was chasing spiritual experiences, and I ended up in the charismatic Christian church. And I learned so much from that time there, but one lesson that they always used to teach us is that the devil, and this is whether you want to see the devil as an energy, an entity, it doesn't really matter. The point is still the same. The devil is not a creator. The devil can only take what God has already created and use it inversely or counterfeit it, right? And so this whole realm has been inverted. Good has been called evil, and evil has been called good. And people who do really fucked up shit to people are the ones who get rewarded and the accolades. And the more you can, the more you're able to, the more what you have to do in order to ascend in the old world is be fucked up. You have to do fucked up shit. It's why they have all of their societies and orders that run the world in the shadows, right? It's like in order to have a certain access in the old world system, you had to be a part of these societies, these orders. And it's not just like the societies and orders that we hear about in the movies. Some of these corporations, how they're run, are based upon this ethos also, whether people are going in and pledging and doing, you know, shit ritualistically like in some of these other groups or not, it doesn't matter. It's the same energy and the same ethos. In order to climb the ladder in the old world, the higher up you went up on the rungs, the more fucked up shit you had to do to other people. It was what they call a dog eat dog world, right? And I say all of that because what a lot of these societies tend to do is they invert everything. So God has a chosen person, they have a chosen person, but because their chosen person isn't real, they have to create the energy around that person whereby they appear to be chosen and they're accepted in the world as being chosen. And this was kind of the point of why we've been targeted for so long, because literally they've been harnessing our energy to cloak you'd be surprised who has been cloaking in your energy. And a lot of the time it's through these families pledging that give them access to you. But here's the thing, they don't tell the families to begin with, oh, this person is, we really want you to be a member because we really want to get to this person. No, they play on the woundedness and the ego of the one who wants the worldly accolades. And once they get access, they make them do certain blood oaths and all manner of things that begin to bind their bloodline. And they do that so they can gain access specifically to any beings within bloodlines that are of divine lineage. I hope I'm making sense. So this is why I'm saying I feel like there is a chosen child dynamic here. And it could be, and when I say child, I'm not talking about like a little person, although it could have been happening since you were a child with this person. You could have been pitted against someone else in your family since you were a child. Okay? Could be a cousin, could be a sibling. That's how my guide showed me it kind of works. Whatever glamour magic they were putting on this one that they've chosen, and they scapegoated you in order to do that, that magic is breaking because you're rising in your light. And what I was saying before is there's a lot of evil eye and hatred now being geared towards you because the gig is up. Whatever it was that they were getting from doing this, the access, the material goods, the status, whatever it was, and this is not just one, like I said, this is family abuse. This is more than just this karmic mother involved. She might be at the helm, or she might be the one who is being sent right now to try to like butter you up. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's a family affair here. Okay? So I mentioned in the beginning cloaking, new moon magic, and sure enough, the glamour magic comes up. This is what this person's trying to do. They're trying to trap you in a timeline again. Because what's happened is as you ascend, as you take back what belongs to you, as you grow in your light, what you're doing is you're breaking out of the timelines that you were bound to. You were bound to certain timelines through this fuckery. Okay? And as you wake yourself up and you rise in your truth and your power, you're breaking yourself free of the timelines they tried to bind you in, so that this other person, this person who cloaked themselves in your energy, this doppelganger, so that they could access your higher timelines. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm clear, because sometimes there's so much. And I also am very cognizant of the fact that my guides have shown me all this stuff, so I get it, but am I explaining it in a way that is accessible? That's really important to me, because all of this stuff has to be, the reason we do what we do is this stuff has been lurking in like the, it's like in beds of wickedness, like, but darkness. It's been hiding and lurking in darkness, and it's been keeping our society and our family systems and our world in this state of mass dysfunction. And in order to move into the new earth, all of this stuff must be exhumed. It must be exhumed, it must be examined, and it must be expunged in order that we can move forward in balance and in truth and in spirit. So yes, at the bottom of this deck, we do have pretending to be okay. So this mother is putting on a bit of a show right now. She's putting on a bit of a show because whatever it is that she started here, whatever it is that they've started here, they cannot get out of it. They cannot get out of what they've done. So what this is showing me is that this is not going to end until they have no choice but to end it. And this is why this message is coming out today, not trying to put you in fear or that you're in any kind of danger. If this message is coming up and you are truly resonating with it, and you're not resonating with it in fear, then this is because you're already protected. And this is your guides wanting you to know what's happening, because once your guides show you something, it's because they're already dealing with it. Okay? This mother has like deep father and mother wounds. This is what drew her into this fuckery. Okay? And that's what they use to draw all these people. They use their wounds and their childhood wounds and their need to be seen and liked and loved and adored in the world, because they don't actually have that for themselves. They exploit that wounding to get them into these societies. And now what's also being exposed is who you are. This is what's pissing them off too. I don't think I've said it yet. I've been meaning to for a while, but let me make sure it's said tonight. What is pissing them off is that some of them didn't know that you, even though they knew they were doing this stuff to you, right, in order for the timeline fuckery, they just thought it was because you were the weakest link. And some of them had a great time doing it because they thought you were a clown. They thought that you were stupid. They thought you'd never find out. They were highly arrogant. And now they're realizing, oh wait, all of this stuff that we've had to do is to stop this person, stop him or her because of their power. And that might be pissing them off even more than the stuff that they're losing. This, however this is playing out for you, if this is your reading, this person having to, like, don't eat up their crumbs or compliments. They do this to reel you in and pretending to be okay. If this is a karmic mother that you're dealing with who's doing this, this is like this being super nice or complimenting you and this breadcrumbing you. Although this has been a part of what they've done many times before in this cycle, they used to get pleasure out of it because they thought you were stupid. And this time around, it's not bringing them any pleasure. It's paining them to have to be this way towards you. Because it's like, whether or not they're fully cognizantly aware of it, the roles have already changed. The shift has already come. The shift has already come. Remember, and I want to thank you guys for clarifying that scratching at the door energy, because when I pulled it up on my search engine, I don't use Google, but when I pulled it up, I didn't go through it properly, obviously, because I was recording. I just got about the dog and the cat, but two of you, I think, commented about the historical significance of scratching at the door and how it was for it was referring to how a certain, I think you said court members were not allowed to enter, you know, the domain or enter the room that the king was in. And so they literally had to scratch at the door to get entry. And what that reminds me of also is, I think it was in either Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. I think it was Jesus speaking. It was either that or it was a book of Revelation, and it speaks about how no, I think this was Jesus speaking. I think this was red writing. He says that he tells this story about the bridegroom and the maidens who have enough oil for their lamps. And they're all waiting outside the chamber of the bridegroom. And the maidens who brought extra oil, which can also be seen of as light, when the bridegroom took longer than they'd expected for the chamber to open, they could still wait. And the other maidens who ran out of their oil came to these ones and asked them for oil. And they said, well, we can't give you any, because what will we do? What will we do? And so those other maidens left thinking that they could get more oil before the chamber opened. But while they were gone, the chamber opened. And once those other maidens entered the chamber, the door was shut, meaning that they were barred entrance. And I think I was talking about this in one of the readings on Monday, this energy of how people from the old cycle, when they're coming into our energy now, or we're going into theirs, it feels to me like time travel. It feels like I'm going back in time, and it feels like when I come out of their energy, I'm coming back into a different time period. And that is literally because dimensionally, the door has been shut. They didn't have the light. They didn't pass the test. They do not gain access to where you're moving forward to. And they're feeling that, and they're sensing that, even if it's only dimensionally and it hasn't played out yet in the physical. They feel that. They feel the shift. They know that the gig is up. They know that the game is over. So it's almost like this energy of this mother figure who has to come in now and breadcrumb in order to try again to get what it is that they need in order to put you in a lower timeline. It's like scratching at the door kind of energy this time around, because they sense the shift. They sense the shift, and not only because of the fact that it's been revealed that the whole time you were the reason for everything, not the brunt of the joke. Now it's actually the joke is on them, right? But not only that, but because they can feel it. They can feel this energy of your ascension, that they literally are like you're in your royal energy, and they're scratching at the door. And for some of you, what was coming through too is that this may be a past life repeat. This is why you're closing out this karmic cycle. Like there's something about maybe you having been actual royalty in a past life, and this person, whether it's a mother or, you know, another friend, family member, whoever this is to you, literally kind of like being that scratching at the door energy, or maybe it was the other way around, I don't know. But there's something here about, it's like the karmic cycle is closing out for you in the same way it's closed out in the past. But this time around, it's like you might be triumphant, but let me put it the right way. It's like this karmic cycle is closing out for them in exactly the same way it has in the past, because they didn't graduate. They didn't learn the lesson. And as such, they're coming to you trying to use like mundane or, you know, worldly thinking, clearly not tuned into any level of higher thinking, to try and fuck with your timeline, not realizing that the very timeline that they're trying to get you stuck in, they actually have gotten themselves stuck in now. Meaning that for some of them, there is no more chance to ascend. Does that make sense? There's no more, they've lost it. Their chance to ascend and for their consciousness to expand so that they could move higher in their own individual evolution, not just from this lifetime, but from past incarnations too. You were the ticket. You weren't only the ticket materially for them through whatever it was they were doing with this coven and secret society activity. You were literally the ticket for them spiritually too. You see, what enough people don't talk about is that most of the time, the very divine beings, high frequency beings that are sent into these bloodlines, are sent in order to help them ascend. In other words, many of you contracted yourself to these highly energetically polluted bloodlines in order to come and give them one big ass fucking mercy call. You were agents of judgment from the time you entered the planet in this incarnation. Even before you woke up and realized that. This is why they didn't like you. But here's the thing. All they had to do was open their hearts and learn how to love you, but most importantly, learn how to love themselves. Because what they didn't like about you was how you shone. They didn't like your light. Remember I said this thing with the karmic mother or father? They didn't, or a karmic mother came out, so it's a karmic mother. They didn't like your light, this karmic mother. And it could be a mother or a father, right? I pick up on energy, right, in readings, but I also like to, there's always a lesson, whether this is exactly your story or not, there is a lesson to be learned irregardless, which is why I hope that my readings are accessible to you, even if this isn't your story. Okay? The reason why this, but I feel like Spirit wants to talk about this family thing, okay? The reason why this mother scapegoated you from the time you were, you were a baby. For some of you, like that other reading, from the time you were 2. The reason why it was easy for them to partake in mind control experiments and games with subliminal programming and MK programming through coven or secret society activities. The reason why they were able to keep up this ruse with you your whole life, the reason why they willingly did it, was because from the moment you entered their lives, you began to magnify their shadow. And you didn't do it by, shaming them. You did it simply by being. You did it by simply being the light that came into their lives to illuminate the darkness. And in that, they had a choice. They could accept their own darkness and learn to love themselves and heal their own wounds, or they could deflect all that shit back on you and try to make you the container for their wounds because they refuse to deal with it themselves. And unfortunately, many of them chose the latter. You were sent here to show them a higher love. You were sent to show them how to heal their own wounds. You were sent to highlight their wounds so they could heal. You were sent to show them how to ascend. And instead of taking that gift that was you, instead of taking that gift and allowing you to blossom and not only help them, but to help others, they took your light and they did their best to snuff it out. And for some of you, they went to the extremes to do that with this coven or secret society activity. They took your light and they used it for material gain, when really your light was sent to help them ascend. Your light was sent to help them to rise. Your light was sent to help them to walk into the new earth with you. And they fumbled it. They squandered it. They wasted you. They treated the sacred gift that you are as if you were a burden. And all of this will be revealed to them now. It already is being revealed to them now. And many of them still, instead of repenting, instead of going within, they still want to deflect. They still want to try and do the old thing as if you're still the person who isn't awake, as if you are still the person who hasn't recovered your light. And so many of them now are about to be given over to their darkness. And when they're given over to their darkness, there will be no chance for them to ascend in this incarnation anymore. The door is closed. So literally, some of them are scratching at the door, because even if it hasn't played out yet materially, in the spiritual realm, it's already signed, sealed, delivered, dusted, done. They've been marked. Somebody asked about that. I didn't get back to your comment. Had a dream about your mother screaming at you, talking about she's been marked. You marked her. No, she marked herself by refusing to see the gift that you were from the divine in order for her to ascend. So now your job, our jobs in many of these families, it's over. It's over. We are on the other side of the door because we had our lamps. We have our lamps. We had enough oil to get to the other side. We didn't have to steal oil from other people. We didn't have to steal their light. We didn't have to share, beg, borrow, steal for someone else's light. Even the pits and the corners that they threw us in, immense darkness, we still found the little bit of light left inside of us that they hadn't snuffed out. And we allowed that fire to grow through our faith, through our hope, through our purity of heart, through our connection with the divine. Yeah. Another long reading. Another long reading. All that has been built upon false light is getting ready to crumble. It's getting ready to crumble because here's the thing. You always were the treasure. You always were the treasure. You were made to feel like you were, a burden, but you always were the treasure. And the world's about to wake up. The ones who they thought, the ones that the old world dismissed the most are the ones who God chose. It's that whole, the first will be last and the last will be first. Some of the most high frequency beings are the ones living on the streets. That's the truth. All of my activations before I began to wake up, like wake up, all of my activations have been through homeless men and women. They were earth angels. They were earth angels. This is why even the Bible says, be careful how you treat people who you think don't have anything, because you don't know who they are spiritually. You don't know who they are spiritually. And this whole world of celebrity has been run, again, off of the harvesting of divine beings' light in order for them to cloak themselves in false light. And those with false light, those ones who've been sustained by false light that they've taken. And the reason the light is false is not because your light is false. The only reason it's false is because you cannot take another person's light and make it yours. That's not how it works. They have their own light. They could have grown their own light. They may have been on a lower level in the ascension reel than you. They may not have been sent right now to do what it is that you were sent here to do, but it doesn't mean that they lacked light. Many of them had light, and they still chose to steal yours. And they thought that because they got away with it, they got away with it for so long that they would continue to. But here's the thing, nothing is actually hidden, and everything is recorded. And for some of you, you've got Archangel Metatron tailing you. And the minute Metatron begins to enter your reality, this I know, Metatron's coming to tell you some things that are recorded that you don't know. And not just Metatron, like crows. Crows will come and tell you some of people's secrets. When crows start to come and show up in your existence, it's because they're coming to show you some things that have been hidden behind the veil. You better be ready. They come in for protection too. but they also come in as guides. They will show you the shit that people have been trying to hide from you, especially as a divine being. But you guys are good. You guys are good. You know? Go into hermit mode. Be aware that this energy, this new moon, is real. There's a lot of desperation in the air. And act accordingly. Act accordingly. You know, when I say act accordingly, I mean, you know, do everything to cleanse and protect your energy. Call in your protectors. Shit, call in your avenging angels. Do what it is that you have to do. Clear your energy. Keep your space clean. You know, do what you know you need to do. But know that you've already won. Most importantly, know that you've already won. So I'm going to love you guys and leave you. I hope that this reading was clear. I hope that I expressed what I needed to express in a way that is accessible. And yes, I don't offer personal readings. I do one-to-one mentorship. So if you are interested in that, I tend to work with people who are quite serious on their path. That's my only criteria for the most part at this point. Just that you're serious and that you're realizing the kind of investment it is like for you. It's the most, you know, like investing in reaccessing your divinity should ultimately be the biggest investment of our lives. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about time, energy, focus, you know? But yeah. I want to leave you with one last thing that they were showing me. And I thought I was going to do a whole other reading on it, but it seems to tie in with this message. Where did I write it down? They were telling me that celebrities of the old world, they're false prophets. False prophets that were on assignments to cause dissension, to make you worship them while stealing your light and causing you to idol worship. So wanting you to worship them instead of taking that energy and applying it to your own personal growth. They wanted you to deal with them as if they were gods, goddesses, deities, instead of investing in that energy within yourself. So again, it's that outward projection of your energy and your time and your investment, right? True prophets help you mine the gold in self. True prophets help you to mine the gold that is within self. Celebrity culture will make you worship them while stealing your gold. True prophets will help you mine the gold in self and help you to appreciate or grow in value and ascend higher into your divinity. So then you can assist others in doing the same. That's what a true prophet will do. A false prophet will cause dissension. They will make it about them. You worshiping them. You increasing their gold through inflating their ego. A true prophet will cause you to see the gold that's hidden within yourself and cause you to grow that within so you can then share it with others. Okay? So the treasure was always in you. The gold has always been you. And this is what many of these people are realizing, and it's pissing them the fuck off. Because again, like that reading I did last time, you were cultivating a heart of gold while they were chasing fool's gold. And it shows. And it's becoming more and more apparent for them every passing day. So again, I'm going to love you and leave you now for real. And until next time, be well.